Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Hello, everybody. Oh, I forgot to do something. I hope everybody's doing well. It's my hair that I forgot. I did it, but I didn't want it to get all fucked up beforehand. So I put it up and I haven't seen it. I forgot. So let's see it together, shall we? I hope everybody's doing well today. Happy Monday, I think. Oh, no, I feel one more pin. Maybe? One more pin? No more pins. Thanks, Mikey. It actually, I don't think it looks great, but I appreciate the sentiment. I hope everybody's doing well today. Why don't we go ahead and tell me what you had for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had for dinner. And we will get going with our evening. Hi, Dale. How are you? We have a lot of TPO hearings today. I doubt we'll get to them all, just cause. Subway. Yeah, you said nobody cooks at your house. It has been a while since I've had Subway. But then again, I've been trying to cook at home. Roast beef French dip, and it was delicious. That's very good, Sherry. I love it. The reason that I put my hair up like that is because by the end of this, I would say in 30 minutes, my hair will be straight again. Almost guarantee it. Almost guarantee it. NPC, that sounds good. Stuffed peppers. I would love the recipe. That would be great. I would love the recipe for that. Anyways, shall we? I think we shall. I want to let you guys know, I did a little bit of work today. Amazing. I know. Couldn't imagine it. And I did pre-watch a little bit of this, and one of the hearings sounded really good, but in essence it was actually boring. Because we don't see the videos, etc. So perhaps another channel will cover it. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, is Creed still opening bonuses? He's still gambling? Oh my goodness. Vicky's having meatloaf, mac and cheese. What? Oh, meatloaf and mac and cheese. Sorry, I was like, wait. Maybe I don't understand what meatloaf is then, because... Anyways. Yes. Here we are. We have Bridget, regular spelling. Shanna, suspect name. And let's see what's going on with these two. Judge has already had a busy day, like I said. I've already pre-watched a little bit of this. This is where we're going to start. I haven't watched this part yet. So let's get into it, shall we?
Number 3 on the calendar, or number 10 on the calendar, by mistake. 24-000332. Great, thanks. Okay, so Ms. Kenny, I'm going to swear, or Ms. Jones, no, Ms. Kenny, my mistake. Ms. Kenny, you're the petitioner in this case. I'm going to swear you in. I'll hear from you first.
Okay.
Ms. has an attorney on the Zoom call, Ms. Stanton, and then I'm going to hear from you. She may ask you some questions. She may not. Sometimes attorneys do that. Sometimes they don't. I will tell everyone at the beginning. A number of written declarations have been filed on behalf of everybody. I've reviewed all those prior to coming on, listening to this case. And so with that, Ms. Kenny, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. And how is it you need an order against Ms. Jones?
Good morning, Your Honor. I am here today to seek relief from someone who I cannot fully remove from my life. My partner's ex-girlfriend and mother to two of his children, Shanna Jones. I have read the objections to her order, and I want to make clear that I am here today for one reason. Since entering this relationship over 2 years ago, I have been the victim of harassment and threats that recently escalated into physical intimidation and contact that for the first time made me feel unsafe and scared. Shanna has openly despised my presence since 2022. She has a long documented history of harassing me via social media messengers. It was very common for her to send ranting, vile, and hateful messages to me that I would not respond to. My partner Ethan and Shanna co-parent 2 children. I have been active in their lives, and Shanna makes it clear that I am not welcome. She frequently reminds me that, and I quote, "I will never be their mother," and doesn't seem to understand I have no desire to replace or remove her from their lives. The online harassment and messaging have decreased since 2022. Shanna has remained hostile when we are both attending family events. She often yells comments indirectly like F and B, stupid B, or questions loudly to others why I'm even there.
Ma'am, if there was ever a time for theatrics, right now is it. Your voice is trying, but are you really trying? Fucking bitch. Stupid bitch. That's what you need to say. You need to get attention. Come on, Bridget. Get with the fucking program.
These comments are clearly directed towards me. When we are interacting with the kids, she will often position herself in a manner to box me out, and she cannot pass any opportunity to express her anger. For example, I recently tried to hand Jameson his football helmet he forgot to take with him, and Shanna forcefully yanked it from my hands. The kids participate in football and cheerleading programs that I was active in until Shanna demanded that I not be communicated with, citing that I am not their mother.
Christopher Engleby, you're not my mother, but I love you. You are OG, baby. Hi, Pass. How are you? Fucking A. That's right. Or fucking I. Sorry. I read it wrong. I can't wait to hear from... No, Shanna has a lawyer, wahoo. So if Shanna is smart, she will shut the fuck up. Also, do you see my hair? See how straight it is now? I'm impeccably happy about that. Not, if you can tell. I literally spent 40 minutes putting my hair in, curling my hair like that, and it is straight. It looks like it I literally could make it look like this if I did nothing. So, I'm pissed off too, Bridget. Don't worry, we're both pissed off today.
This was not an issue that she raised with me, but since this time, I have only attended cheer on the weekends that the kids are scheduled to stay with us. Friday, September 20th, which was Ethan's court-awarded time, Shanna was joined by her family at the game. Her family treats me with the same hostility, but this time was different. On this night, Shanna's mom, Stacia Jones, gave Jameson a hug to say goodbye. As she stood up and walked past me, she shoulder-checked me. She was unapologetic and glared at me while Shanna said goodbye to Jameson. As I went to leave, Shanna objected to me taking Jameson with me to meet Ethan, even though he was a short distance away. Shanna's Aunt Samantha yelled, "You're not their mom, you dumb bee," and the group began to berate me. I was shocked that they were preventing me from leaving and intent on instigating some kind of problem. Ethan was in earshot of this unfolding and appeared through the crowd. We began to make an exit, but the 3 women took turns screaming insults as we moved away. It was audible for more than a minute as we moved rapidly. I was afraid that the group was committed to furthering this problem and convinced that they were following it. I passed an officer from the Lacey Police Department and I asked her for help. I believe that I am unsafe and in need of protection because this family has demonstrated that they are impulsive and unable to control their worst behaviors. They all said that they want to protect the kids, but each of them took turns riling each other up, and not one of them chose to be the voice of reason or calm.
Did you hear that? I didn't hear that. Why the long face roll on G is if you scroll back to the beginning of the show when my hair was good for approximately 14, no, that's an exaggeration. My hair looked good for approximately 7 seconds because I spent a lot of time on it, and now it's already straight, and I'm mad about it, to be honest. I'm fucking mad about it. That's the reality. Secondly, the dramatics here are bothering me. I've been a stepmother. My daughter has a stepmother. Blended families are regular. Get the fuck over it, Shanna. Get the fuck over it, Bridget. Also, where's your man? Has he stepped up? Again, obviously a little beta fucking whatever. Regardless, you don't know that, Paisley. Anyways, and then Streamlabs. Streamlabs has just now decided to not play the sound when Christopher so generously gifted a membership, and Streamlabs is doing nothing. So I'm even more mad. I would say yes. The answer would be yes. Oh, and I'm out of good weed. So yeah. It's a compound fracture of a fuck up, I would say.
Their actions have shown that this matter is territorial, and I am convinced more than ever they will amplify their hostility until they achieve their intended goal of pushing me away. I received Shanna's filings on Friday. I have reviewed the screenshots Shanna and her brother Tim exchanged with someone named Nicole Jackson. I am not impersonating this person, and I don't know who this person is. It is clear that their family is convinced they are messages from me or Ethan. In these screenshots, threats are made. There are sections that are removed from their submissions of these messages, and I feel increasingly unsafe after reading them. Ethan's truck was vandalized last week in front of our home, and it now feels less coincidental. After speaking to Officer Howard that night, I realized this is how her family operates, and it will never get better. I fear I will always be the focus of intimidating acts and aggression if nothing is done. That is the only reason why I am here today, to seek relief.
Ms. Stanton, do you have any questions you wish to ask Ms. Kenny?
No. I would like to just do a closing argument when the court's ready.
Okay. Do you wish to have your client testify? I mean, there's things in the file, but
We'll stand on the statement that she provided and the witness statements.
just a minute.
You just did, NPC. Honestly, I'm so mad. But this is why when I do my hair, I get frustrated beforehand.
So-
because, Judge, shut up for a fucking second and let me talk about my hair. Also, bye, Chris. Thank you. I get upset when I do my hair because, like, I was literally doing my hair an hour before the show, and then it's gone, like, and it's just gone. It's just straight. So I put it up in the thing. You all saw that happened real time, no cuts. Anyways. And you know what? I know a lot of people would kill for hair straight as mine. I understand that. Hair straighteners make a lot of money. Okay? I remember when I was younger and we would have sleepovers and the girls would like straighten their hair with an iron, a literal iron. And I would be like, can you straighten my hair? And they'd be like, Paisley, okay. You know, and just do it out of sort of like pity. And they'd straighten half and then they'd leave half and they'd be like, we don't even need to do the other side, Paige. Like, it's just the way it is. And again, my sister's a hairdresser. 2 of my sisters are hairdressers. Doesn't help. There's nothing to be done about it. I think industrial strength stuff might work. I don't know. Anyways, I'll turn my frown upside down in a second.
In reading the file, does Ms. Does, does Ms. Jones have an order against the father of her children? An anti-harassment order of some kind? When
Restraining
was,
order.
yeah, but it's a no contact order,
It's a
anti-harassment
do not disturb order.
order.
Credible
Ms. Kenny,
threat was-
Ms. Kenny, Ms. Kenny, I can only talk to one person at a time. And if two people are talking at me, I can't understand either one. Okay. So I'll give you a chance to respond, but I'm speaking with Ms. Stanton right now, and I'll come back and talk to you in a minute. But yeah, go ahead, Ms. Stanton.
Yes, there was a restraining order that was entered in the family law case that has a do not disturb, and it also required him to forfeit all of his firearms because of concern.
John, I used a curling iron. I didn't straighten it. I curled it. Do you see why I'm upset? I fucking curled my hair with a curling iron.
And issues that he had.
I see. But it's, I mean, is it no contact? Like don't come within X amount of feet of? or
No, they
anything
only
like
gave
that?
a do not disturb the peace. But I believe that what's been happening has been disturbing the peace, and that's why I provided it.
Got it. So Ms. Kenny, I will come, you wanted to say something?
I was just gonna say, it's do not disturb the peace. A credible threat was not checked on the order, and the rep and surrender is only temporary, pending evaluations that have been completed, and temporary orders, they're not fact.
Oh my god! Roland G, we've had the same experiences. Do you realize I probably still do speak in my sleep. I sleep alone now, so nobody tells me about it. That's a whole nother problem. But I've often had interrupted sleep, let's call it. But when I was younger, you could talk to me in my sleep and I would answer. And there was a sleepover, and this story went on forever, okay? But they talked to me in my sleep. I somehow fell asleep first, which is probably why I never would fall asleep first now. But, okay, they asked me about a kiwi. It's all coming back to me now. Anyways, the whole thing, basically I made some lesbian inference in my sleep about a kiwi. I don't understand either, but it traveled with me throughout high school. Let's just say that. Like, it, again, was an odd situation. But during the sleepover, they were trying to get me to talk while I was sleeping. Anyways, you would have hair issues too if you were a YouTuber. I know. Honestly, what bothers me the most is that, honestly, I'm just being serious. Like, I just spent 40 minutes doing it. And that's what bothers me. Is like, why then do that? Probably not a good idea. What product did I use? I used some hairspray and I used some wave-in, and my hair is dirty and needs a wash. And that's the best time to do it. And I Googled it. Okay, I was feeling pretty confident today when I had it all up to begin with. I was like, oh shit, maybe this is going to stay for a little while. It didn't. It didn't, Joey.
What's the parenting plan say? And I'm asking you, Ms. Kenny, is there a parenting plan in place, and
There's temporary orders. We have, Ethan has Jameson and Cosette every other Thursday to Monday. They go back.
What the fuck is that child's name? Say it again. Did she just say Cosette? That's abuse. That's abuse.
I believe just the middle of December for final orders.
I see. All right, so Ms. Stanton, so what's gonna happen now there, Ms. Kenny, is I'm gonna hear from Ms. Stanton. She's resting on the declarations and document, which I've read. And I'm gonna hear from her, then I'll give you the final word here, all right?
Oh, Joey Bag of Donuts, revitalizing me. The sound came through. I heard it. You gifted out 5 memberships. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I don't know, should we do like a disclaimer every time we do that? Like, if you don't want your membership, come and tell me about it. If not, thank you, Joey. Yay, I heard it that time.
Ms. Stanton, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. I do want to object to her witness statements because they're clearly people who do not have direct knowledge. Ms. Jones is the custodial parent of 2 children, ages 7 and 8, and she had a legitimate reason to want to participate in and to watch her children at the events that she registered them for and she paid for. And she would not do anything that would jeopardize her status as primary parent. Ms. Kinney is the live-in girlfriend of the children's father. After separation, he was getting every other weekend. And Miss Jones finally, after 2 years, asked for child support. And that's when things changed. And Miss Kinney and Ethan were both cornering her, taking the children from her at events, and bullying and threatening her. Miss Kinney at one point was saying, "I bet you won't say anything to my face," at an exchange. She was intimidated and afraid, but she was told by the police that she needed to not make a scene and you can't just have arm wrestling over the children. So she allowed the children to go over her objection, and she went to court because the police told her to get a parenting plan in place. She also received the restraining order that included the surrender of firearms. She denies all of the allegations. She would never speak the way that they have said that. Those are not her words. And she would never ask third parties to reach out on media. Miss Jones is the one that signed them up for the football and the cheer. And the father decided to sign up as a line coach on the side. He had no prior history of volunteering. I'm assuming it was for show for the family law case. Ms. Kinney decided that she would attend all the practices and games so that there was always an opportunity to harass Ms. Jones. Ms. Jones blocked her on social media 2 years ago and intentionally goes out of her way to not have contact with her. The messages are old. They were at a period of time when Ethan was going back and forth between these 2 women, and it was causing some antagonizing, manipulating, and disrespect. And my client was not perfect. She did apologize, but Ms. Kinney also apologized. We attached both of those so the court could see that they were both apologizing for their behavior. At the children's games, Ms. Jones will only say things like, "Can I please have my personal space?" or "Could I please be left alone?" But she's always very respectful to her because she's doing this in front of the kids. She doesn't want the kids to see any ugliness. And she wants to stay respectful, hoping that that will be passed back toward her as well. Miss Kinney will usually say things like, "I don't have to," and go get Ethan and start fighting with her. Miss Kinney was removed from the cheer coach group because of the hostilities between them. And she also took her daughter's cheer uniform. This is something my client paid for, but she felt the need to take it and to not provide it over to the daughter. Miss Kinney has yelled at her in front of the children on multiple occasions, saying things like "grow up." They both will gang up on her. It comes this bullying aspect where 2-on-1 against her. She has a legitimate right to be present at these children's events. Miss Kinney has no children there. Miss Jones does talk to her children at the events, which she should have a right to discuss, say hello, say goodbye, tell them that she's proud of them. Those are reasonable things that normal parents will do. Last year, Miss Kinney got in her face when her son was crying. It was at the exchange. The son did not want to go. Miss Jones was trying to console him, and Miss Kinney was there in her face trying to take the child. It didn't need to go this way. This is just how Miss Kinney is. Miss Kinney has a long pattern of not respecting her boundaries. Ms. Jones reached out to her attorney about the harassment in August on 2 different occasions and to the guardian ad litem in the family law case on 9/18, which we did provide that to the court. Also on 9/20, she called the police as well because she truly believed that what was occurring was a violation of the court order because it was disturbing her peace. All of the witnesses that came on 9/20 all corroborate what my client is saying, that this did not go down this way. The maternal grandfather, Tim Jones, attends nearly every practice and game. He was present on 9/14 and 9/20. He witnessed her give a hug and a kiss before the game, and there was no stare, clenching fists, cursing, or threats. These are fabrications, and the daughter never said any of these things. The maternal grandmother, Stacia Jones, also was present on 9/20, and she watched Shanna, Sam, and Gracelyn all go over and say hello and give a hug, and Miss Kinney was not spoken to. She also says that she's also very polite, that at the end of the game that she went over to wanting to give the grandson a hug, and she said, "Excuse me," and that it was Miss Kinney that stepped on the back of her shoe and bumped her, which caused her to lose her balance and almost fall. But she says that she did nothing that was rude, that Miss Jones did nothing that was rude, and that it was her that lost it and started screaming at them. Samantha Bell is the aunt. Samantha Bell also wrote in that she has known Ethan since 2012 and obviously Miss Jones her whole life, that she was there on 9/20, and she confirms that all 3 of them just went there to say hello, that it was approximately 1 minute. There was a hug and a hello and a goodbye. At the event, when they wanted to say goodbye, they wanted to also see the daughter because the daughter had not been present, only the son had been present in the beginning of the event. And so they went down there to say hello to her, and they saw Jameson. They wanted to tell him what a great job he did. And that's when Miss Kinney started shouting that he was on the field, didn't you see him? And things started escalating, and then the father came over screaming and angry and dragging
like-
the daughter. Go ahead.
If I'm understanding you correctly, everything is Ms. Kenny's fault and Ms. Jones did nothing.
Well, I'm saying that Ethan also, I truly believe that this is done as positioning for Ethan in the future of the family law case, and that it's
Yeah, for what? Oh, don't block him. It's fun. What are you going to report me for? Is it going to go to the news? Oh my god. Have you ever heard that saying, any press is good press? Unknown channel. A hilariously shit troll, by the way. Like, thanks. I appreciate it. What are you going to report them for? For me being so damn sexy? I bet so.
not based on the truth.
Okay.
It's just like
But
Ethan
again,
was
I mean, your clients, there was no sort of instigation from either your client or her family members, and everything, all the voice raising came from Ms. Kenny. Is that what you're telling me?
and Ethan as well. Both of them were yelling at my client's family, and the 12-year-old or 11-year-old flipped them off on the way out. So yes, that is our position, that this has been, my client in the family law case described a huge amount of domestic violence that was going on with Ethan, and she believes that this is just more of the same, that Miss Kinney has joined in on it. That's part of the reason why they are cornering her 2-on-1 to take the children back before the parenting plan action started, was because they were both in on it together to take the kids from her. And so that is my client's position in this. But she also had multiple family members that were also present that all say it did.
Oh my god, you guys. I have to apologize. Unknown channel. Were you reporting that my little bra strap thing, hang up strap here, was out? Thank you. That's so sweet of you. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed.
did not go down the way she's saying. And she
Well,
has a legitimate and lawful right to go to her children's games that she paid for and registered the kids for, and to see them at those games. She's denying all of the allegations. There is no knowing and willful course of conduct to harass Ms. Kinney. There is a legitimate and lawful purpose for her to be there to see her kids. And we don't believe that there's any substantial emotional distress alleged or present in this case. Your Honor, there's no reason to order this anti-harassment, and it would be used.
Actually, hold on. Have you reported me yet? I'm waiting for the email from YouTube. Can you get on it? I'd really like to see it. Could you hurry up, please? If you're just gonna watch till the end and then report, that's not really any fun. We'd like to see you actually get me taken down midstream. Could you try that? Go ahead. We'll wait.
Used as a weapon in the family law case, if it is ordered, to try to say that she's the bad actor in this case, when the court previously found that Mr. Ethan Martin was the one who was the bad actor and needed the order. And so I believe it is positioning for this upcoming December hearing. And I'm asking the court not to enter it. It wasn't entered on a temporary basis, and it should not be entered now. Thank you.
Ms. Kenny, I do have one question for you, and then I'll let you to respond to what I heard from Ms. Stanton. Ms. Stanton indicated that, I saw those apology texts, I guess would be the best way to put them, a couple of years ago. And then Ms. Stanton, I think, just told me, and I don't mean to mischaracterize what you said, but if I did, you could tell me, things were okay for a couple of years until Ms. Jones started asking for child support. And then that kind of started things back up again.
No, that apology was made. She cropped out the date on that apology for a reason, and I think she also submitted these pretty late. I received them on Friday, so I wasn't able to submit any documentation to prove a lot of her lies and her declarations. But the apology was made in November of 2022, and the majority of messages that I submitted are from January 30th of 2023. So it was,
which is well over a year ago.
Right, but it was 2 months after she said that she apologized, and in her statement she said she has never veered, and that from that apology,
What happened
those are not her.
for the last year and a half? How have been things?
So the last about year, we have had Jameson and Cosette 50% of the time. There was no parenting plan put in place. Shanna forced a foreclosure on a home that Ethan refused to give to her, and she refused to sell it. As soon as that happened, she had to move out and start paying her own rent. She took Ethan to court, claiming that he has never had them 50% of the time, and it was only every other weekend. So that's kind of what their parenting plan it'll go through all of those weeds, and hopefully they have a order in December. But
What fucking panel are you talking about, bro? It's just me. These people were in court, okay? It's a video. Do you see that? I mean, it might be confusing because I'm sort of all over the screen here, but this is just me, my show. You're in my show. You're not, this isn't a panel. Nobody else is invited. Well, certainly not you. If they came from TikTok, how did that happen? We all know I don't go on TikTok. But again, it's hilarious to me. Again, the engagement, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, I'm still waiting for that takedown notice. Haven't got it yet. You want to try that again? Maybe with some of your other accounts?
Last year for Jameson's flag football season, I and Ethan both attended every single practice and game. She did not show up to the majority of those practices. She did attend games, and there was no issue between the two of us. We did not communicate, but we never cornered her. We never took children forcefully from her. Those are all made up. And then I am very respectful. I think that I'm very passive. I let her say goodbye to her kids. I understand that that is their mother. I give them space. But now that there's a do not disturb order in place between her and Ethan, she has made me the target again. Before, she would send Ethan messages, harassing him, even saying terrible things about me to him. And since she can no longer do that, she has made me her target yet again. And now she is including her family. All of her declarations are people that are clearly biased. They're made to make me and Ethan look like terrible people. And that's the same thing that they did in his custody case as well. It's all from the same family. And it's not true. None of her allegations are true. And I also put a public records request to get video footage from that.
Oh, hold on. See, here's the funniest part about this unknown channel. We actually care. We actually care, bro. I'm assuming you're probably somebody that's been here before or something like that, but I'm sorry to hear that. That fucking sucks. It's been a rough couple months for a lot of people. I used to lash out at people that I loved as well. I've grown since, but I understand that some people don't have alternative, like, methods. They are not there learning, but that's sad. Like, you can ask for attention here without trying to troll me. We give it. It's weird. I know. We're a little family. We get together every single day. Courtney's not being rude to you, unknown channel. You're being rude to me. And Courtney's my friend. And Courtney protects me. So you could go ahead and apologize to all of us. And we will all, on a dime, be quite nice to you.
That night, they said it could take up to 30 days for me to get it. But I was not even standing directly next to Jameson when they were saying goodbye. Dallas was actually in the middle of us. So the mom intentionally went out of her way to bump into me, and she did it intentionally. She wanted to get a reaction out of me, which she did not get from me. And when I don't react, that's when they escalated the situation and we chose to walk away. And I also want to say that Ethan has paid over $30,000 in child support. So this whole thing of him not paying and she pays for everything herself and she does everything herself, it's a lie. It's just to make him seem like a bad person. He coached their baseball this last season. She would not take the kids to baseball on her time, but he did coach that as well. So it didn't just start happening. He has been active in their life, and just our presence showing up is an issue for her.
Right. So here's, give me just a second. I'm ready to rule in the case. As I said before, unlawful harassment is a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person that seriously alarms, annoys, or harasses. And I've heard, I get this frankly isn't all that uncommon. One side comes in and say, I didn't do anything. This person won't leave me alone. And then the other person comes in to respond, I didn't do anything. It's the other person who's causing all the problems. And so it's, I think you both need to understand, Ms. Jones, I'll speak directly to you, as long as Ms. Kenny and the father of your child are in a relationship, she's not going anywhere. She's going to hang out. And Ms. Stanton said on a number of occasions, well, Ms. Jones, she has a right to be there. She has a right to be there as mother. And of course you do.
NPC, you're so sweet. Were you trying to get that one to unknown channel? Also, we do everything with consent around here, unknown channel. You should know that. So we wouldn't be whipping you without consent. But if you want to, we can arrange that too. But
Ms. Kenny doesn't not have a right to be there. She's involved in a relationship. Her significant other has children who participates in these events. She can come and watch them. There's no problem with that. That's actually a good thing, I would think. And the same is true for you, Ms. Kenny. Ms. Jones isn't going anywhere. And I don't find, I'm not going to find that one person was the cause of all this. It's generally my experience. It kind of takes two to tango, and we're here in court. And I really don't think we would be here if this was all just one way, which is a long way of saying at this time, and somebody's told someone to grow up. And frankly, I think that's good advice for both of you. And so I'm not going to enter an order at this time. Not all conflict rises to the level of harassment. You two don't like each other. There's no question about that. And, it's a lot of what you claim, Ms. Kenny, is, all these family members are doing all this thing. But you know what? You didn't ask for orders against them. And if you have orders against them, want orders against them, you can bring them, but not, getting an order. And so I'm not going to enter an order at this time. It doesn't, just because two people don't like each other and can't get along, doesn't rise to the level of harassment. But it might if it keeps up. And both of you need to understand how you're conducting yourself in front of these children. I don't think a real great show is being put on for them. And when everybody sits and points their finger, it's not my fault, it's her fault. Well, it's not my fault, it's her fault. That's just not a good. It's just, you're not putting on a good show for these kids because they're watching and they're learning. And I don't think they're learning a whole lot from what's going on out there, a whole lot of good things for what's going on out there. So at this point, I'm going to deny the petition without prejudice. And again, I don't know if maybe if I do, there's some mandatory transfer issues here, and sometimes in family court cases, this might be better brought and litigated in the family law case rather than here, although technically it might not qualify because it doesn't really affect the parenting plan, and jurisdiction hasn't been exercised against these two folks individually. But this seems to me to be wrapped up in the family law case on both sides. And so anyway, that's a long way of saying at this point, I'm denying the motion for an order, or denying the petition for an order. And I think both of you should probably take a good hard look at how you're conducting yourselves out there. And that's, maybe that'll make both of you mad at me. I don't know, but that's the way I'm going to leave it here for today. And you're both, and Ms. Stanton, you're all free to leave the Zoom call. You can get a copy of the denial order off the Thurston County District Court website.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You're welcome.
I would expect that it was my roommate being unknown channel to being a bit
So
of a bitch, but
Mr.
he just dropped in and showed me a thing of raw
Yeagley,
chicken.
or there's Dana Ryan, what case are you here for?
Your Honor, I represent Mr. Okert in a
Oh,
felony matter in Pierce County. So I showed up today to make sure that there's not anything that gets on the record that's inappropriate that would affect that case.
I see. So he's, okay, Mr. Yeagley, we're going to take your case up next, but I'm going to speak with Mr. Ryan here for just a second. I didn't realize you were here.
Your Honor, I was in court all morning.
Okay.
And that's my concern, is that it's a fairly serious charge in Pierce County, and
Like that. So Mr. I'm
not moving around.
Well, your camera is. And so Mr. Nimiskern,
That's
can you come on
Mr.
the Zoom
Okert,
call,
sir.
please? Can you activate your camera, please?
Yes. Oops.
And Mr. Okert, I need you to be stationary. That's who I was talking about. Thank you. It's disconcerting to me to have the camera jumping around and people moving and all that sort of stuff. Mr. Nimiskern, your camera's not working.
Hold on, sir.
So a temporary was entered in this
I'm
case.
sorry, Honor,
So
I'm
what I
working.
would be inclined, so Mr. Nimiskern, just to have you hear me, I'm going to speak to Mr. Ryan.
Go for it.
In these sorts of cases, sometimes people are reluctant to go forward with the hearings for the good reason that, again, they have a right to, if there's other cases, criminal cases, things that happen here that could have an effect on that. And so, which may prevent Mr. Okert from saying everything he needs to say. And so a temporary was entered in this case. What I frequently do in these sorts of situations, Mr. Ryan, is just reissue the temporary without a hearing, reset the hearing out a ways, and then take care of the criminal case, and then we can come back and deal with this. Mr.
Perfect.
Nimiskern, from your point of view, an order is in place, that'll remain. But
Right.
just the final issues just won't be resolved just yet. And Mr. Ryan, I'd run that by you as to see what you said you wanted to file some stuff and you wanted to appear in this case and file some things anyway.
And that makes the most sense, Sean. I have no objection to the court continuing the temporary order out, and maybe setting this hearing out about 60 to 90 days.
Mr. Nimiskern, do you understand that? Do you have a response to that?
I do, sir. I just want to get this over with. Right
Okay.
now, I do have to appear in court on December 12th against Mr. Okert because I am in one of the cases.
All right, that's why I don't want to go forward on this case. But go ahead,
Okay.
you can continue.
I mean, if they want to sit there and file stuff, I'll go ahead and let them. That gives me more time to file more stuff that I have as well.
What's 60 days? Okay, so today is 21st. We'll go December 23rd. Let's quit. Well, we can go into January. No, January the first month. How about January 8th? No, that's the, I got the 20.
We're booking into
January
January?
6th.
No! What happened
We could
in December?
reissue this to January 6th of
That works for me.
2025. What's that?
That works for me, Your Honor. Thank you.
And so, Mr. Nimiskern, you're free to file whatever you wish.
Okay.
The order is in place and it'll remain in place. And I'm saying that to you there, Mr. Okert. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to go
Mr.
look.
Do we have emails for Mr. Okert? I don't. Okay. Mr. Ryan, if you wouldn't mind putting your email in the chat, we'll email you a copy of the reissue order. And then when you file a notice of appearance, of course, you can get it in there also. And Mr. Nimiskern, we have your email.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm going to check the box unless you have an objection to it there, Mr. Ryan. So
No
the
objection.
reason for setting this over so long is to restrain a person is asserting a Fifth Amendment right due to a pending criminal case. And
Thank
then
you, Judge.
we'll reset it for that reason. Service isn't required because you're all here. And we'll see you all back here on January 6th.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. You're all free to leave.
Thank you.
And then, Mr. Ryan, if you could get your email to us first, and then you can go.
I just put that in there in the chat.
Thank you. Did you get that? Great. For the response.
It does look like Bernie Sanders. Yeah, we don't ban people around here.
Am I good to go, Honor?
Yes, you are now, Mr. Ryan. Thank you. And Mr. Okert,
Thank you.
that was Mr. Okert, but both of you are free to go now. We got your email.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But if you do happen to have an account that you believe is banned, we do have a quarterly process where you can apply for an unbanning, and we'll decide on it. We do that every 4 months. These are
I'm going to do one more thing, and then Mr. Yeagley, you can come on with the Smithlands. Are they with you, or are they just?
They are
Oh,
present
they're in
on
a different location. There they are. Great.
here's the
And then
Smithlands. Here we go.
the Austins. All right. So give me a minute here. I'm going to finish up on something on a different case.
And then I just wanted to inquire of the court before we started, Your Honor. So
Go ahead there. If it was a late filing, I didn't see it because I was looking at this over the weekend and go.
Oh,
If
I
that's
just
your
wanted
question.
to clarify, there were two things. One, we did file a response packet with the court on Friday afternoon. I wanted to be certain
Yeah,
that the court had received that and reviewed that.
The court may have received it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah, that's an issue. And then the Austins filed a police report related to the September 4th incident. Apparently this morning, or at least I received it this morning. And frankly, Your Honor, if I had received the police report myself from the police in advance of this, I would have filed that with my own response packet. And I think it's important that the court review both our response packet and the police report
Okay.
as it relates to this incident.
All right. Give me just a minute here.
So if that's
I'm
the
going to
case,
finish one and then I'm going to look here because I haven't seen any of that either.
okay.
That's not good. He's looking at that. I'm eating barbecue chips. I shouldn't be. I should be eating just the dressing I bought. I bought all dressed seasoning so that I can just eat the seasoning. My fat ass needs to stop eating chips. Tyler has not been on recently, but Tyler did email me. That was in a legit... We do often get people here from the actual court cases. Sometimes. Do you guys have all dressed seasoning where you're from? All dressed. Tout garni. 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 In American. Tout garni. Or tout garni. I've had 3 stalkers in my life. It's not fun. Don't stalk
Right.
people.
Is that in the file now?
Please.
Okay, so I guess I was wrong. We're not going to be able to take this up now because it's not even in the file now. So that
Okay.
puts you in the position of the Rawlings. Have you?
No resolution, and I have to go over and attend the late season matter at 11, but that shouldn't take long. How is your honor?
Okay, well, hang on. Let me look and see what's been filed, see how long it is.
I don't have my nail polish on because nobody sent me money to get my nails done. I don't do my own nails very often. It doesn't look very good.
Yeah, we don't have anything, we don't have it in the Rawlings thing either. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with these cases. But nothing right now because they're not even in the file now. But what next case we're going to take is, and then it's the same thing. I'm going to have to come back on this later. Well, one thing that we could do is, well, what time is it? I don't really want to do that. No, I was going to say we come back this afternoon, but I would really like to finish this calendar this morning so we don't have to come back. And, but I do want to read all that stuff. And so, you were going to say something?
Would prefer to be, if your honor thinks it's possible to be done today. Yes.
It's going to be done today. There's no question about that, but it might not be till the afternoon.
And that's tough for my client's work schedule. Your honor, could you do you hear this while you're still on bench hearing these next week?
Where's Mr. Kean? Next week's probably pretty big, isn't it? Again.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Get the documents of the case file.
Which one? Okay.
Yeah.
And did you get them in on the ones on the Smithland Austin thing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Give me just a second.
Could you hurry up? Are they going to take their case up, do you think? I don't think they are. I think they're not. I think we have to go to this guy. All right, let's go. This guy's been here before. I remember his chin.
This is a neighbor of yours, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. He's shaking his head no.
He lives
So-
approximately 500 and some odd feet from my house, Your Honor. So
Quarter mile, Your Honor.
Okay, so hang on, I heard, as I said to other people, if 2 people are talking to me, I'm not going to be able to understand either one. So Mr. Vernon, I promise I'll give you a chance to respond, but I'm going to swear in Mr. I asked those questions before I swore him in. And I'm going to swear him in now, and then I'm going to ask him why he thinks the order should be renewed. Then I'll give you a chance to tell me why you think
Thank you.
not.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Blacksmith, can you raise your right hand, please?
Yes, sir.
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead. Why should this order be renewed, reissued?
Okay, let me get to my paperwork here. I'm waiting for the page to load on.
You're gonna want to learn that anything but compliments about my appearance are not taken very good. So, yeah.
On here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay. My apologies, Your Honor. I'm trying to get my computer figured out here. The seriousness of Michael Vernon's aggressive behavior and threats of violence prior to the issuance of this protection order, his continued harassment and unchanged hostility towards me merit a renewal of the court's finding that he is a credible threat and should be ordered to stay away from me and my residence indefinitely. I want the renewed order to stay in place permanently. Let's see here. Michael Vernon, the respondent, has continued to harass me by displaying signs on his house and property containing threatening statements designed to intimidate me and malicious and defamatory statements about myself and my wife, Exhibit 1. And in Exhibit 1, I have some of the photographs that have been taken of his home and the signs. The respondent has also slandered me to my neighbors, and in Exhibit 2, I have a statement from one of my neighbors who had actually spoken directly with Mr. Vernon. I believe that the respondent displays these signs because he is, one, fixated on me, two, hopes to provoke me into some kind of altercation.
No, Shane, I totally take that exactly as kindly as it was meant. I totally believe it. I love you guys. And actually, there are many people in the chat. Well, not many. I would say there's a few people in the chat that have met me in person, and they can vouch that while some people would think this is an act, it's not. This is who I am all the fucking time. And yes, I do have a creepy laugh, but some people love it.
3, seeks to punish me for obtaining a protection order, and 4, lacks self-control. The respondent's behavior demonstrates an unchanged attitude towards me that is concerning, given his history of unprovoked physical attacks and threats of gun violence. I have not driven by the respondent's house for an entire year, going well out of my way to avoid any conflict. Yet he still bears a grudge, which shows the respondent is incapable of change on his own and needs the guardrails of the court in order to keep him from engaging in foolish and aggressive behavior that could end tragically for everyone. Past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. With the background information, as a reminder, the respondent engaged in 2 unprovoked acts of first aggression against me on July 21st, 2023, while I was driving my 3-wheeled motorcycle on the street public right-of-way near his house, including forcible restraint, assault, threats of violence, and gun violence, hate speech, and an attempt to disarm me. The respondent's rationale for the attack stemmed from his irrational belief that I was speeding past his house, despite his lack of formal training and ability to measure my speed, and decision to take the law into his own hands. On September 22nd, 2023, the respondent engaged in 2 more instances of unprovoked aggression against me using his vehicle. The first time he drove by and verbally harassed me and my visiting friends while I was in my front yard. Later that day, he repeated his behavior and attempted to assault me with his vehicle. For my part, I called law enforcement both times. Responding deputy on 7/21/2023 told the respondent it was not his job to enforce the speed limit. I had the option to press charges, but allowed the respondent to apologize instead. However, I was forced to obtain a protection order after the other 2 incidents on 9/22/2024. Made it clear that the respondent was dangerous, mentally unstable, and would continue his harassing behavior. The fact that he came to my house was a clear escalation. The respondent admitted to the 4 incidents in court on November 6, 2023. although he made excuses for his behavior. The judge concluded that the respondent's claim I was speeding was not credible given the short distance between intersections and his lack of training, and told the respondent his actions were foolish. And in fact, the judge had called Mr. Vernum directly, said that he was foolish.
Interesting night, Casey Carey. We have a wannabe troll who's actually a sad little being who's hanging out, needs a little extra attention and love tonight. My hair was done. I would recommend going back to the beginning, checking out how cute it looked for 14 seconds when it was curly, but it's straight again. And oh yeah, this guy's back. Mikey, I can't believe it's been a year. Does that mean, no, it's been more than a year since I went to the meetup in Florida to meet Mikey and others. Oh, Iowa. We had lovely dinner. That was such a nice dinner. But yeah, interesting night, Casey Carey. Glad you're here.
Foolish, and that his actions were foolish. Let's see here. The judge concluded the respondent's claim I was speeding was not credible. Okay, I said that. His sign harassment campaign started in earnest about a month later and has continued until present. Throughout this process, I have learned that the respondent has a history of 1, threatening and bullying people in the neighborhood, see written statements submitted with original petition, and 2, harassment, May 5th, 2005, Tumwater Municipal Court, offense code 9.16.120, case number, and then big old long case number after it, which you have there probably with you. And I'd like to read the impact of harassment on the petitioner. Even though I have every right to walk or drive down the public road in front of the respondent's house and do so unmolested, I haven't walked or ridden my motorcycle in my neighborhood for a year because I don't feel safe. And in fact, I've not ridden my motorcycle since the last incident that had occurred. Let's see here. I haven't because I don't feel safe. In the interest of avoiding conflict, I have also consistently bypassed the respondent's house when driving and have taken a less convenient alternate route for the past year. Imagine having to give up your
3-wheeled motorcycle and all the glory that it brings. Casey Carey, you're so sweet. I think you meant you look lovely, Paisley. But I'm going to go with you love lovely Paisley because that's true too. I do love myself. I'm so vain, but thank you so much, Casey Carey.
Your enjoyable activities and walk on eggshells in your own neighborhood because your neighbor is harassing you. To feel safer in my own home, I just purchased an expensive $4,500 security gate for my driveway. Yet the signs remain up and the respondent eagerly spreads lies about me in my neighborhood. My quality life has been diminished by this continued harassment. In addition to this very real physical danger posed by the respondent's hostility towards me, which disrupts my peace and makes me feel unsafe in my own home and neighborhood, the situation has caused me to suffer from anxiety, insomnia, and nightmares. These conditions have been greatly aggravated by the prospect of the court not renewing this protection order because I perceive the respondent is still a threat and believe that he will resume his unlawful behavior of trying to assault me if a renewal is not granted. And then I have my exhibit list. The first one, the first exhibit that I have, the first 5 photos were taken on 12/8/2023, 1/26/2024, and 1/28/2024, respectively, and provided to me by concerned neighbors. The last 2 photos were taken by my wife on 10/2/2024 and 10/4/2024. Below, I've summarized what the signs mean in the context of the respondent's past comments and provided other details that might be helpful to the court. First one, we have a coward from Desert Storm on the hood on Gregory.
You don't need to repeat those. I could see the picture.
Thank you.
And those are the ones that were up in October?
They were up in October and they'd actually been up for quite a while. He did put up other signs as well, but my neighbors didn't stop and take pictures of all of them. In fact, at one point I had told people, don't put yourself in any danger by taking pictures of the Mr. Vernum's home. Don't engage with them. I want him to be left alone. Yeah, and some of the signs, I'm aware of some of what they said, some of the signs that he had up that I don't have pictures of. At one point, he had a sign up that had said, where's Benedict Arnold? Alluding to why I've not, been in his neck of the neighborhood. Well, I've been respecting his space and leaving him alone, and I don't want to anger him by driving in front of his
Let me
house.
hear from, again, I reviewed, you repeated a lot what was filed. Let me hear, I'm going to swear in Mr. Vernon, and then I'm going to hear from him, and then I'll make a decision as to whether or not the order will be extended for a year. So could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And you can stay on keep your camera activated there, Mr. Blacksmith. You can put your hand down. And so, yeah, so he's asking to extend the order for a year. What's your position on that?
Well, everything he just said was a lie. I haven't seen this guy. Well, this is the first time I've seen him since a year ago, November 6th in court on video.
Right.
Like I told Judge Buckley back in 6 when I was asked about why I put signs up like this. It's called the First Amendment.
No, I know.
And Judge Buckley said he wasn't going there. I had neighbors that lied about my dog and they had it murdered. So I made signs calling him all kinds of names.
Right.
This guy says I threatened him with a gun, Your Honor. I didn't have a gun. He had the gun on him.
Okay, so you don't need to raise your voice at me. I'm right here.
Sorry. But
Okay.
Judge Hoopman or whoever it was a year ago would not read what my 2 neighbors saw him doing. When Sybil said that she was scared he was going to shoot me with his gun. I backed off like this. I can't raise my right arm because my right shoulder's gone. My left hand's broke. I can't make a fist. This is the best I can make a fist.
Okay.
And my signs are all, none of them have his name on them. None of them have his address on them. I'm doing my First Amendment.
Right.
Now, the thing that started this is when Israel was invaded October 7th of last year.
Sir, we don't do politics around here. I'm gonna have to get the counter out. I've got the counter. You know, what you just said there made me snap into another sense of myself. You don't get that for free. Nobody dominate them. No domination. No, be extra nice. Extra nice. That's not something you get for free.
I have a good friend that was a judge here 20 years ago, 18 years ago, who was Jewish. I have a brother that I call my big brother who's dead now. He was Green Beret and he was Jewish. This Israel sign was put up and I put my dead brother's flag down that said, kill them all, let God sort them out, referring to Israel.
Okay, so I'm not.
Well, he
Okay,
came after
okay,
me for
okay,
this
just-
Israel
just-
sign and the kill them all, let God sort them
Okay,
out.
just a minute, you said you haven't seen him for a year.
I've never seen him.
Okay, then I guess what's the issue with extending the order? I mean, wouldn't you guys want to stay apart from each other? Wouldn't that be a good thing?
I don't want an order on me. I'm due for 2 operations. They just found out a week ago, the day I got this thing served to me.
Right.
I have a thing in my aorta, one of those aneurysm things.
Okay,
I have to have my nose broke here next month because it got broke 12 years ago when I passed out from dehydration and broke it. I can't breathe out of it. Plus, I want my gun rights back. You guys took 2 guns. One was my son's, one was my daughter's. I didn't know these 2 guns were in my house until 2 years ago when we removed my gun safe and they were making noise in them. My guns have been out of my house since 1990. This is a lot of stress on me for something I didn't do. I wish the court would read what my neighbors said that they saw that day. On June 22nd of 2023 at 10:07 in the morning. I went down to his house September 21st, but I didn't know that was his house because some kid stopped in the car and it turned out being his son and he was throwing garbage in my driveway. Now, Lieutenant Tarver, who used to be a sheriff at this place, and I think he's dead now, was one of my neighbors. And he always told us the way to handle the speeders that we have is get a license number and an address and try to talk to them. This guy was doing 50, 60 miles an hour in a residential neighborhood. And all I wanted him to do was slow down. We've had 3 kids hit in front of my house in 45 years. And it's not pretty watching a kid bounce off a bumper and hit the asphalt. I did not threaten this man with a 44 Magnum. I said, you made my day, because 22 years ago, 2 GIs pulled a gun on me down in the neighborhood because they were speeding and throwing beer cans all over the road. And they paid for it, but I never threatened them.
Did you have something you want me to read?
Yes, sir, I do.
Could you hand it forward, please?
May I come up?
Yes.
There's 2 pages from 2 different of my neighbors.
All right. Give me just a moment.
Yes, sir.
Hey, American Courts, how are you? They were here a year ago. Were you around a year ago? Forgive me. I am so busy. A year ago, I remember Credence and Mikey showed this guy, Mr. Blacksmith over here. But, you know, he has not been riding his tricycle lately. That's terrible. That's just terrible. And the IBS guy, I know. Terrible. Presto, you just popped in on the night. What a night. What a night it is. What a night it is. If you think my laugh is creepy, you'll hate my fucking singing. Oh, fuck. Not high enough, Presto. Not high enough.
So I've reviewed this. Did you want this to go into the court file?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can.
Your Honor, I have 2
Okay.
kids.
So hang on just a second. Just a second, okay? This is a pretty simple thing here we're asking.
Yeah, I
right?
understand that.
And whether this order that's been in place for a year is going to continue for another year and all of that. That's the only thing I'm here for right now. And so I've reviewed that. You know, I've listened to you speak. I've listened to Mr. Blacksmith, and I'm sorry to hear about your health issues. Sounds like that's a
My
serious
daughter
thing.
was murdered. My son killed himself. Okay, that's why I have health issues.
Okay,
I don't even
Okay.
go to my children's cross that was put up in the neighborhood because of the threat of him calling. He called the cops on me on January 20th for riding my bike at nighttime in the rain, which I don't ride. My hand's broke. I can't ride my bike. I haven't rode it since 15. He keeps calling the cops on me. I got a neighbor that does it. He doesn't like my signs. He says it depreciates his house. There's Muslims down the road. Those garage
okay,
doors.
so I know it. That doesn't matter, okay? It just doesn't matter. I mean, those signs, and you're right, you have a First Amendment right to do that.
I'm not bothering him. I don't talk to him. I haven't seen him. I don't call him. I don't know his number. I just want my freedom back.
Sounds like Braveheart. Freedom! Freedom! He's filling out the order right now. Y'all know that, right? Also, we don't tend to wish people's grandparents early death around here, Unknown Channel, just so you know. Unless they're dicks, you know. Man, if I only had the case from a year ago, we could have done a double header. Double headers are some girls' dreams. Come on. Hey, Wahoo, you're totally right. Some guys, too. I was listening to this comedian the other day, and they're like, my friend went to the doctor and said, my butt really hurts. My ass really hurts. And he said, well, where does it hurt? And he said, around the entrance. And he said, well, as long as you keep calling it the entrance, it's going to hurt. Bah ha 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 ha. Where's my laugh track? Judge, you were supposed to speak right then. I thought I timed it perfectly. That was a funny joke.
So Mr. Blacksmith, he said, he says you've called the police on him several times. Is that accurate? Not, or why?
I called the police on him during the first incident, the first couple of incidents, and then 2 times when we drove by with this car, made contact with me in front of my home.
And what do you do at that point?
Well, when 911 was dialed by one of the bystanders, that's when he got angry, sped down the road, lost control of his vehicle, went into one of the neighbors' yards, restarted it back up after he stalled it. It went into another neighbor's yard, and then he drove up the side the 15-foot right of way. And it was my belief he was going to strike me with his vehicle.
When did that happen?
That was the very last incident that I had read off on the paperwork right there.
I know, but what was that, before or after the order was entered?
That was before the order was entered. Yeah. Since the order has been entered, I only called the police once on him, and that's he drove by on his motorcycle and revved his engine really hard. It was relatively harmless, other than documenting it for court purposes. I called the police so that I had a record. We looked at the video. The police looked at the video. It was indeterminate if it was Mr. Burnham, but his bike does have a unique note to it, and he most certainly is not telling the truth when he said he does not ride his motorcycle. In fact, one of my neighbors, just before he got restationed in Indiana, had seen him pulling into his parking lot on his motorcycle. So Mr. Burnham is not exactly telling the truth. He does occasionally ride his motorcycle.
I'll allow you to respond to that.
Your Honor, I haven't rode my bike since they found me almost dead in my house in 12/21. I blew the shoulder out on 6 when somebody hit me on my bike, and it looked like they were going to total me out. So I stood up on my stirrup and I put my body between the car and my bike, and my shoulder took it. I can't do much more than this with my arm. I ride my bike to the gas station periodically to put fuel in it. That night, the sheriff called me on January 20th or the 22nd, a little after 9, and started asking me if I was riding my bike. I said, no, deputy, but you can come over here and touch my bike and see if it's cold or hot. He never showed up. This guy tried shooting me with his gun, Your Honor. And now he's trying to say that I'm the one that threatened him with a gun. I would never threaten anybody with a gun. And I'll tell you how. In 1990, on March 26th, my kid's mother got tied up with a...
That's the day after my birthday, folks, March 26th. Also, I love being tied up. Is he going to talk about something good or something bad about being tied up?
Felon. He talked her into kicking me out for molesting my children and sexual abuse to her. 2 weeks later, I was given my kids back. I won custody of them January 8th, and they were kidnapped by their mother and this man. My boy was dumped off on the street, and my daughter was taken. We didn't see her for 3.5 months. I raised my kids. 10 years, 8 months later, my daughter was butchered down the road from the house, stabbed 19 times. It was horrifying. And my son killed himself shortly after that because the mother was not allowed to go to the funeral, and she never went to his. Now, I've had problems, but I'm not a psycho. I don't bother people, and I think my letters my neighbors gave you will instigate that, tell you that. I don't bother nobody. We've had problems with speeders in our neighborhood for a long time. And when I drove the car down there on September 21st of 23, it was to get a license number. And he yelled out 4 times when he saw it was me, "How are your dead children?" That's why I drove up on those neighbors' lawn, because I was puking in a Walmart bag because he said that. And I went home and I've never been back to that part of the neighborhood since. I don't go visit any of my friends. I stay on my end of the neighborhood. This guy's trying to keep me in trouble. I know what restraining orders are and what they do.
You're not in trouble. You said that there was a cross you're not able to visit? Where is,
Pardon?
you said, I thought I heard you say there was a cross that you were not able to visit?
Yeah, the kids put cross up for where my daughter was butchered, and then they put my
Okay,
son's
so
name.
where is that?
Well, when you go where my street is,
Okay.
9th Way,
No, let's assume for the moment, I'm not familiar with the neighborhood.
it's a quarter mile away from his house.
Okay, so Mr. Blacksmith, are you aware of this cross? Do you know what he's talking about?
I am, Your Honor. And in fact, the cross is not on the same street that I'm at.
Okay. So hang on just a minute, just a minute. Can he visit this cross without violating the order as it stands now?
Yes.
Absolutely, Your Honor, you can.
Yeah.
But people that have orders like he has on me, if he would have been driving out of the other entrance of the neighborhood, he would have been calling you people.
Okay.
This is what I want to prevent.
Okay.
I don't want to die right now.
Okay. So, okay. Mr. Vernon, here's going to be my ruling in this case. Okay. So I've heard you speak. I've listened to your testimony. I've read you what you reviewed, which was apparently pertinent to the original order that was entered. That order was entered. The only thing in front of me here today is whether or not this order is going to be extended for another year. And based on everything I've heard, the testimony, and I'm going to grant the order. I'm going to grant the request. It's going to be ordered it's going to continue for another year.
Well, then you might as well throw me in jail right now, because I'm not going to go another year of this kind of stuff.
Okay, so hang on just a minute. I'm not going to throw you in jail right now.
No, I'll drive by his house when I go home.
Okay, so
I'm not putting up with this no more, Your Honor. Judge Buckley says I have the right to
Oh my God. What the fuck is going on? Maybe we should just put him in jail for a little while. Should we maybe put him in jail for a little while? Yay, you got a membership. You're in the club now. Wait. I thought you didn't want to be in the club. In the club. Do you know that lady? No, but in the club. Did you change your mind? I'm glad if that's the case. Or if I'm thinking of the wrong person. I'm sorry.
to express my First Amendment right, and that's what I'm doing.
You do?
I don't have no signs with his name on it.
Okay.
None.
Okay.
I haven't been to that part of the neighborhood at all.
Okay. So if you want a copy of the renewal order, you can have it, but that'll conclude the hearing for today, or you can
So
get a
you're
copy
gonna
of it.
do this to me again.
I didn't do it I'm not doing anything.
What did
to you.
I do wrong? I haven't visited this guy. I don't have a cell phone. I don't even know his number.
Okay.
Why are you doing this to me again?
Okay.
I have to go in for an operation, and now I'm gonna cancel it today when I go home.
Okay. Well, I don't think you should need to do that or should
Well,
want to.
I'm
do
not
that.
gonna live this way anymore.
Okay. Well, you
So
know,
call your deputies and have them follow me home, because I'm going to his house. This is wrong, Judge.
okay.
Judge Buckley wouldn't have done this to me.
Okay. You can take that if you want it, and you're free to go.
Your Honor, is there
You're free to
something I
leave the
should
Zoom
do?
call. What's that?
Is there something I should be doing if he's gonna show up at my door?
I'm not gonna, I'm not really in position to give you advice. You asked me to extend the order, I did, and then, you saw his reaction. And we'll see where we're at. But I can't.
I understand, Your Honor. I understand.
I can't give you advice.
I'm just frustrated. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're free to leave the Zoom call.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Wait, so basically it's the opposite of what normally happened, which is so if he didn't put the order in place, he wouldn't go to his house, but now that they put the order in place, they did. Also, I'm glad you're in the club with us. We do members only on Sundays. I think you're right, Free Zachariah Anderson. He doesn't just stand on the corner, he also posts them at his house. I guess tomorrow I should check the Thurston County. Oh, fuck. What are they called? First appearances. First appearances to see if Buddy Boy was arrested today. I mean, it's been like a couple hours. Anyways, we have more to watch tomorrow. We're not going to watch it all today. We'll watch some of it tomorrow. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. What a fun evening we've had today. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Chat was on in 3B today? By accident? I love it when they leave on chats by accident, but I do not ever recommend that judges leave on chats. YouTube chats are not something to be trifled with, especially if you care about your public appearance. Now, I am a glutton for punishment, so I come back every single day. I love it. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Yeah, check out the Amazon wish list. I added some new stuff. I'm going to add some more. Thanks again for being here. Also, we have like no mods. We have 1 mod, 2 mods. We have 3 mod, 4. We have 4 official. Literally 4. Plus me. I'm the top. I'm the top dog, in case you couldn't tell. I know, Courtney. I wish I could stay, but I have to hit the gym today. I still have to hit the gym. You moderate your fucking mods. I love you, Cellulite Yoga Pants. Love you too. All right, my dears. I love you guys so much. Remember that. I love you. I'm proud of you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.